So they'll go straight for the jugular, right? Like no monkey business, right? Like they'll go for the most valuable databases or email exchange servers.
Welcome to CISO Unscripted. This is the series where we tackle the hottest cybersecurity trends and headlines, providing you with Unit 42's practical strategies to defend against emerging cyber threats and the adversaries driving them. I am your host, Mitch Mayne from Unit 42. Today I am talking to Assaf Dahan. Assaf leads threat research at Palo Alto Networks Cortex. He drives innovation in both detection and analysis. Assaf has over 2 decades in cybersecurity, and he brings deep expertise in several domains: offensive operations, malware analysis, threat intelligence. His leadership is instrumental in uncovering advanced threats, see today's topic, and advancing protections for organizations globally. Assaf, it's good to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so Assaf, I want to dive into Phantom Taurus today. Phantom Taurus is a newly identified advanced persistent threat group targeting government and telco in Africa, Middle East, and Asia. Now, they use highly adaptive and covert tactics. Its alignment with Chinese interests and deployment of tools like Netstar malware make it a priority for security leaders today. So I want to look at this from 4 different angles. Number 1, what differentiates Phantom Taurus from the other advanced actors out there? Number 2, how this group's tactics continue to evolve and what that means for risk. And number 3, what are the concrete actions we want CISOs to be thinking about doing now to improve readiness? And number 4, I kind of want to get into the value of industry collaboration and real-world intelligence sharing in defending against threats of this type. Ready?
Yep, ready when you are.
All right, let's dive in. So first things first, what aspects of the Phantom Taurus threat make it distinct from other advanced persistent threat actors you've seen?
Ooh, that's a $1 million question. And I think it's a really good place to start because there are a plethora of threat actors operating today in the cyber espionage domain, and specifically in the Chinese nexus of APT threat actors. And what distincts Phantom Taurus is a number of things, actually. So first and foremost, their unique tooling. So they have their own homegrown malware and tools that they have been developing for at least 3 years now. These are state-of-the-art pieces of malware designed for extreme stealth, really to stay under the radar, making sure that they can facilitate their espionage operations. So, and we haven't been able to find any other group that uses those tools. So that's, first of all, what really sets them apart, but also their unique, I guess, targeting. So they have been focusing on specific regions, let's say mostly the Middle East, Africa, and Asia, targeting governmental entities and telcos. And now, a lot of groups do target these regions and industries, but the way they go about it is quite unique. What we've been seeing is that different groups have different ways of getting inside the network and compromise different assets, and many espionage groups often like to use spear-phishing and elaborate social engineering tactics and techniques, but this group doesn't do that at all. Like they, instead of going after, let's say, a minister or a high-ranking official and try to individually target an asset, they go for the infrastructure. So they'll find a vulnerable server or they'll find a vulnerable internet-facing asset that would be their way into the organization, and then they'll try to find the crown jewels, if you will.
Of course.
So they'll go straight for the jugular, right? Like no monkey business, right? Like they'll go for the most valuable databases or email exchange servers. So let's say if you want to get like a specific information about a country's foreign policy, you can potentially you can tap in like the minister or like some high-ranking official, but you can also tap the entire email correspondence server. So that way you can get diplomatic cables and correspondence from all over the world. So that's how they work. Their, I guess, hallmark is scale rather than like those surgical targeting of individual people,
So this is
if
a
that makes
broad
sense.
brush technique. Yes, absolutely, it makes sense. This is
Yeah.
more of a broad brush technique, casting a wide net with a unique set of tools and a unique set of targeting.
Yes and no, and I'll explain because it's not a pray and spray type of operation. Like the targets are carefully selected, so we don't see them. Are certain threat actors, like North Korean and other Chinese groups, by the way, that will have like more of an opportunistic targeting. The targeting that we see here is handpicked. It's carefully selected, but once they have chosen a target, let's say a Ministry of Foreign Affairs, if you will, they won't go for like a specific individual. They'll go for the servers where all the information lies.
Got it. Got it. So a little bit different approach from that angle. So
Yeah.
let's talk about that shift from targeting email systems to directly going to the servers. How should CISOs then interpret this in the grand scheme of threats out there?
There are a number of ways that you can look at this shift. First of all, I think the shift is not 100%. I don't think it's mutually exclusive. I think that in certain cases, they would still go after the exchange servers if they deem the information there valuable. But when it comes to the shift that we've been observing in the last year, where they have shown a preference, what we can interpret as a preference for going after databases rather than the email exchange servers like they've done in the past. So this shift can be attributed to a number of potential reasons. So first, as I said, maybe like the information that that the databases contain is more valuable to them. That's one. But B, I think this is where it comes to the security side of the house. I think if you look at exchange servers, they've been getting a lot of attention over the last 5 years with numerous vulnerabilities and 0 days. So basically, everyone in the industry is looking at exchange servers and IS servers because of all the 0 days and vulnerabilities and the way it was almost trivialized, and almost any threat actor today can use these exploits on unpatched servers, which are extremely prevalent till this very day, by the way.
Yes. Keeps us in
Um,
business. Yes.
exactly. And I think that once you have so many eyes on trying to defend or even just monitor exchange server, maybe the attackers were thinking, okay, how about we can still get that information or similar type of information, but where on assets that are maybe slightly less monitored, such as databases, where it's getting visibility into databases and whatever goes on there, and whoever's trying to access the data or manipulate the data, it tends to be slightly less monitored in the industry.
So it sounds like these guys have a few aces up their sleeves, not only in terms of their little unique toolkit, but also how they're actually approaching the target themselves. All right, so let's pretend like you are in an elevator with a CISO and you got about a minute and a half to tell this individual what the heck they need to do now. What are you going to
Ooh,
say?
an elevator speech. Okay. We'll start with covering the basics, okay? And I cannot stress this enough. It has become almost like a cybersecurity cliche, but that doesn't mean that it's not true. It still holds water. And I can't believe I'm still saying it after all these years, but I cannot stress enough the importance of good IT hygiene. In 90% of the cases where we've seen Phantom Taurus, we've seen other threat actors as well penetrating an organization and getting access. So 90% of the time, it would be because of misconfigured asset, an asset that is not hardened, unpatched servers, things that are not up to date. And it's not these fancy 0 days necessarily that they use. It's mostly known vulnerabilities that could be remediated. So that's one. And the second thing is, aside from IT hygiene, everybody can talk about it for hours, is having the right security tools. And that I can split it into two actually. So the first thing you'd want it to have is a good visibility. The number of conversations I've had with CISOs and other security practitioners on the other side of the fence that struggle with understanding what happened to them or where things happened. At the numbers of time I had to tell someone, hey, this and that server is compromised. It's like, oh, I didn't even realize that it's not on my list. So like there's a bit of like shadow IT and general lack of visibility. I think that if you have the right tools like Cortex XDR, for instance, and other tools in the industry, you can get good visibility. And the second thing, which is probably like the most important thing, is having the right security tools that can give you the big picture and also can double click and go deep inside each asset, be it a server, be it an endpoint, whether it's your cloud, email assets, and do this correlative work of looking at the data and then finding the anomalous patterns, the malicious activities. And this is exactly what my team and I are doing on a daily basis. We look at our telemetry and we find those really nefarious activities and we translate these insights into detection rules, behavioral detection rules.
Got it. So hygiene, visibility, and looking at your landscape to see what's an anomaly out there. Did I get that right?
Yeah, yep, pretty
All right.
much.
Not bad for a poli-sci major. All right. Last question. And this is a little bit of a segue into a different topic, but it's one that's very important to me. And I think very important to the cyber realm as a whole. I want to talk about threat intelligence sharing. And specifically, how does that kind of sharing and collaboration across industry partners contribute to defending against these kind of threats that are emerging, new, novel, like Phantom Taurus? What's your perspective?
It's extremely important. It's extremely important. And that's why we not only share publicly our findings and insights, we share it with our industry partners from different industries, from different regions. We have like really strong ties with vendors, even competitors, because it's extremely important. We don't get to, even though Palo Alto has a really great telemetry, we don't see everything that happens. And our colleagues in other organizations or companies, they only see glimpses, right? No one sees
Absolutely. I'll see
the
through a
full,
straw, right? But we all have our own
exactly.
straw.
So that sharing helps us build a stronger community of researchers, of threat intelligence analysts. We enable each other, we empower each other, and ultimately we make our products better so we can protect our customers in a better way. So this is really important.
And one of my favorite things about being in cyber, because I don't know about you, but I have a little bit of a superhero complex. So I want to save the world. And sharing at this level across competition, like you said, across geographies into law enforcement, really does help accomplish that and make the world a better place, which is one of our values here at Palo Alto. All right, Assaf, I really appreciate your time today. It's been educational, and I actually learned a little bit about Phantom Taurus, so that is a definite plus. Thank you, my friend, and we will catch you next time here on CISO Unscripted.
Thank you so much.